Welcome, Michael, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about the Unblessed Divine, this first album, Portal to Darkness, and more things related to the metal world. So we're starting, I think, with a common question about on all interviews. So when do you decide to start a project like Unblessed Divine?
It all started while I was still playing in Sinister. Lee Vollenschläger, he sent us a t-shirt design, and I started talking with him because I really liked the design. And a few months afterwards, he was looking for a keyboard player, actually, but in South Africa. So I messaged him that, hey man, I can help you if you can't find anyone. I just can record some parts because I like it and so on. Because he didn't actually find any members in SA that were reliable, then we started talking about all songs, and actually that is how Unblessed Divine was formed. It was mainly just helping with keyboards, but it emerged into a full band.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I saw that the band started one. I saw the curious things about the start of the band is that you started in 2020. So when the pandemic started, so perhaps the pandemic speed up the creation of Unblessed Divine, the first EP, and then this new album.
Yeah, actually, the band started just before pandemic. We had first ideas of the songs shortly before the pandemic emerged. And of course, since everyone had more time, we had more time as well to compose Unblessed Divine songs. And I'm still busy in some other projects. Then maybe it wasn't like a full job for me back then. But it was really fast when we recorded the debut EP, The Coming Darkness, and we started. Actually, we started writing the Portal to Darkness songs just as the EP was ready. One of the songs, the Exalted one, was used on the album, and yeah, we had some time because of the pandemic, but I think it was just a normal composing process. Normal, I mean, well, it was online, of course, but normal if it comes to amounts of time.
Okay, other detail about this one, now talking about from this Portal to Darkness, is that a lot of reviewers, even us, we put a label like atmospheric death metal because you have keyboards in there, you have a lot of this kind of stuff into your music. So for you, how do you define the music for Unblessed Divine? Is atmospheric death metal, or perhaps do you have other kind of approach to say, hey, Unblessed Divine is death metal as just worse? Who knows?
Yeah, well, actually, we were just thinking of playing death metal somehow in the style of the 90s with some modern touch. And when I saw the atmospheric death metal label once, I was, whoa, what the hell? But yeah, of course, I understand because there's plenty of keyboards and effects in it, but we didn't ever meant to make it atmospheric as a whole genre. It was just to emphasize some of the riffs, some of the atmosphere on the album. And then I saw that, okay, we got to label atmospheric death metal. Okay, it's fine with me because I don't really care what label it is as the album. We all like the music we composed, so yeah. But now let's just say we play death metal, and that's perfectly fine for me.
Okay. Well, one thing that was Unblessed Divine is there's a new band in the world because the pandemic. You start the band at the pandemic, then you release the first EP at the pandemic. Now you are releasing 3 years later your first album. So through one of the biggest labels that is Massacre Records in the world. So how was the deal, or who will in touch first? Who was in touch first? Massacre Records touched to you, or perhaps you will send us, as a lot of many bands send, a promo copy of the new album, and they interested to release this new album. Who's the first?
Back then in 2020, Sinister was still signed to Massacre Records. So when we formed a new band, I actually emailed them, and they replied, "Okay, we'll take it." So that was a really short one, and it just happened so quick that we decided to use the Exalted One video as a promotion by Massacre Records back then, because the EP was just released, and our talks with Massacre were like, I don't know, some emails regarding contract, and that's it. It was a really fast one.
Okay. Other detail, well, as you know, a lot of bands are releasing first albums, new albums, EPs, videos, DVDs, and a lot of things more. So for you, what is the biggest difference that this Portal to Darkness has compared to the a lot of new music? It's not like the 80s, it's not like the 90s, or the beginnings of 2000 when you have 10 records or 20 records per in 6 months. Now you have more than thousands records in a week.
Yeah, I think there are two factors that differs us from some of the bands. I don't want to say that from all of them, not to sound megalomaniac or something. And the first one, yeah, it's the keyboards, as we already mentioned. We decided to use them just to make it more disturbing industrial atmosphere, not to make them like a full instrument. And we didn't want to make it too melodic as well. So that's one thing. The second thing is the sound, the overall sound of the album, because as we spoke with our producer, we wanted to match some of the greatest albums of the 90s, but have that modern touch with some modern techniques, and not to be archaic or too old school, but to mix both worlds, the 90s and 2023.
Okay. And well, I saw that you are from Poland. Simon is from Poland, and just Lee Volenslega is from South Africa. So
yeah.
The band is ready to play a live presentation, or perhaps this band will be just a studio project, because a band in other countries sometimes it's very difficult to get rehearsals, to play live, etc.
We're 100% live band as well. Right now we started talks with tour agencies, so we can plan gigs for next year. And if it comes to rehearsals and the logistics of Unblessed Divine, then the majority of the band will rehearse here in Poland. We have like a full band here except for Lee. And before gigs, Lee will fly to Poland so we can rehearse with him. And after a few rehearsals, we will fly to gigs. So it's already we already spoke about that, and probably there is also a chance to bring Lee to Europe. That will be even easier for us to play.
Okay. Other aspects about this new in general of the theme, especially from the lyrics of the band, is that you spoke about the glorification of Satan and this kind of aspect. So what is your point of view about Satan? Because now it's not like the end of the 90s, or like when King Diamond or Lizzie Borden talks about this Satan aspect, and say like against the normality, against the society, against this kind of aspect. Now the Satan is more like a trend, like a religion. Even the Satan religion is now it's like the Christian religion. They have rules, they have a church, they have a priest, etc. So what is your point of view in this album talking about Satan?
Okay, first thing, it's the lyrics are all made by Lee, so I'll just state my point of view. I guess it should be similar to our vocalist, and it's not only about Satan, it is about your own thinking, your own way, that you don't need any religion to live your life, to make your own choices. So yeah, actually that's the prime fundamental thing of Satanism, as it always was. And we are living in like 21st century for some years now, and some of the things didn't change around the world. There are still church is still really visible in all parts of life. In politics, there are concerts cancelled because of the bands being too satanic or some stuff, and that's a part with the thing I said in the beginning, to have your own will, your own choice, your own thinking. That's the main concept, lyrical concept of the album.
Okay, okay. Other aspects that you mentioned it a lot of the many times is that when the band tries to get in touch with the 90s scene with this kind of aspect like Nocturnus did at the end of the beginnings of the 90s with the keyboards, etc. And now you put it into your music a little more brutal stuff, especially Simon plays like a demon into the drummer. It's very curious. I remember when I hear for the first time Unblessed the band whole album, and remember bands like Luciferium, the second album from the Swedish band, and bands like Nitras or bands like Sarpanitum. So for what kind of influence did you take from the 90s and these times to create this new album? As you told me, you create you drank from the 90s scene, and now you put the elements of the new scene.
Okay. First thing is the drum parts on the album are played by Michał. He's the next player from Decapitated.
Okay.
Simon was the Simon that you could see on the photos was a member for some time. He was just playing that on the rehearsals, but it's Michał who is responsible for recording all drums parts. And if it comes to influences, then yeah, of course we can say about Nocturnus if it comes to keyboards, because they were also doing the disturbing atmosphere in their music. Of course, Morbid Angel, Old Vader, maybe Old Nile, and all those of bands that were released that released their best albums in the 90s. If it comes to the sound, when I was talking to producer, I also pointed him just as an inspiration, both Frauer, the Fourth Crusade, because it sounds so deep and so energetic in one way, and it was the thing we also wanted to achieve.
Okay, we are very close to this interview, Michał. And for this aspect, what kind of promotion do you have for this new album? Well, as you told me, you are preparing new gigs last year, but this year perhaps you create a few gigs in the next couple months, weeks, who knows? Or perhaps you will create more music. You will embark the second full length from the band, or perhaps videos. Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, we are starting composing new songs already. It will take some time, but we don't want to rush. Maybe the album will be released in 2025. But yeah, we actually have some new ideas for the songs, and yet it probably will be in the vein of Portal to Darkness album. Of course, gigs we are planning as most in 2024. If there is something this year, then of course we will play that. But the main thing is that we want the full band to be 666% prepared for that. We have new members that are rehearsing right now, and maybe there's a chance to play something in the end of this year. But mainly it's up to 2024. Probably also then we might re-release the EP on a vinyl, and there'll also be some clothing, t-shirts and stuff that will be later on this year.
Okay. Oh, as I said, talking about from other kind of aspects, well, just related the music industry in general. As you can see now, the world is related, but it's now like the new generation living with a single area, talking just the album is not like the 80s, 90s or 70s when the people waiting for the album, listen the whole album. Now that the music the magazines, etc., and a lot of media movements create these kind of playlists into the digital platforms. So what's your opinion about what do you motivated to create an album in a world that just prefers singles now?
I think that's both of us. We are old school. We were born years ago, and we are used to have full albums. But because of the new times, we released 2 singles, which we would normally wouldn't do 20 years before. So there is something new with our style of composing, of promotion. But for me, full album can be a concept, and not only lyrical concept, but also musical. And all 8 songs on Portal to Darkness connect to each other. So it would be really hard, and it was hard to choose singles from it. So that's why we prefer full albums.
Okay. Well, Michał, the sad times arrive at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one like me. Terrific guy, love this first album. I hope I will see Unblessed Divine live soon. Perhaps, who knows, in Latin America, who knows? Depends on the promoters. So perhaps you want to add something to your new Latin American fans and Metalerium followers.
All right. Thanks a lot for you and for all our fans. And we want to tour whole world and get to every place that wants to hear death metal, wants to hear Unblessed Divine. And so it's just a matter of months, and then we will start playing. So I hope to see you guys all on tour and on our concerts.